In this video, I really want to go over how I made this track. I have ideas for making more videos where it's like, here are 7 steps or whatever, but this is just how I made this specific track that I love. Here's a little preview of it. And that's basically it. The chorus repeats one more time, and then there's another post-chorus where there's no vocals, just the instrumental. It's a short track, 2.5 minutes long. The vocals are only the first minute, but I like it nonetheless. Whenever I make music, it really helps me to be inspired. So you can tell that there's a lot of similarities between this song and Niagara Falls by The Weeknd. It's mainly the kick with going dun 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 and the chord progression. And also like the soundscape in a way. So I first started off with one recording. I recorded the synth and some vocals. It was just gibberish. I just want to get the idea out. Originally, you can see that there are a lot of recordings, and I'll try to put that on screen. But after some editing, I got the takes that I thought were good. Still, I don't like many of the takes because I don't think I'm a great singer. That's kind of why I have the auto-tune and the effects. So you don't really think of me singing. You think of, oh, that vocal sounds cool. I added this little rising sound. And that consists of me just playing the synth while raising the pitch wheel. Then we just took out the sub bass and the bass, all the low end. We took out this for some odd reason. And then we added Valhalla Supermassive for like echo, reverb, whatever the exact word is. This sound is also on that same chain of the last one. Its main purpose is kind of just to fill up space in a way, to show that the track is growing in importance and something's about to come. Along with that, we have the main chords coming in. And this is where the song really gets like beautiful, in my opinion. So that consists of a C sharp major 7th and a D sharp major 7th, and then what is that? A sharp minor 7th. And I'm playing it like da 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 instead of just holding it out, because if you just hold it out, it's a little bit kind of boring, right? So doing these simple things by only playing just for a second, but having that long tail makes it a little bit more interesting. There's some movement, there's some modulation. I think music is all about movement, modulation, getting that next thing to come at the right place or be taken out at the right place, whatever feels best for the listener. So let's listen to all of that right here. The last melodic thing before the drop is this bass line. And it kind of sounds weird. It sounds aggressive and it doesn't really sound like it belongs on its own, but in context, it feels a little better. And it's playing just a simple groove. A little aggressive, but then we play it with everything. So now we move on to the drums. They aren't complicated at all, but I just like the sounds of them. I like the space that they provide, and I think it works well with the song. Simple as that. This is the first hi-hat without effects, and this is it with the flanger. It's a little more aggressive, but it also has this slight movement to it, which I like. But the main hi-hat is the second one. This is it without effects, and this is it with them. We have Echo Boy. We have this reverb from IK Multimedia, and then we have Valhalla Vintage Verb. Low-key, I actually don't really like it that much on its own, but it feels better within the mix, right? If you solo everything and it sounds awesome, and you put it together and it sounds doo-doo, is that a good song? If you have really good ingredients and you mix them together and you have a horrible meal, is that a good meal? We then have this rim shot. This is it without effects. But, of course, I wanted to add effects to it. I had this pseudo flange from Effect Boy. The same purpose as the flanger as the top one. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. Then we have this room. I would like to not be using this effect. I would like to be using the, what's it called? I would like to be using Verb Suite Classics. That's my favorite reverb, and I tried it for a year on like the Slate subscription, but I just stopped using it. But that is the reverb that I would like to be using. Then I have this Tora verb. Okay, I don't really like the Tora verb, but this last one kind of brings it all together. Lastly, we have the kick. This is the best part. Simple and very lovely. You know, it's kind of in the name. So for this, I really wanted to use the Universal Audio Verve Analog Machines plugin. And then I took some low end out of it. I'm going to play without it. And play it with. Low-key, it sounds the same, but the tone is a little different. There's some more high end, and it feels a hair softer, but there's also this like where it's like feeling at like near the bottom. I think, or at least that's what my brain tells me. And then I just took this to take some of the subs out. Also, I didn't realize that this adds a lot of noise to the recording. Yeah, I play it without the effect and with it, and it feels just a tad bit more lively. And like whenever I was mixing this in, I was just closing my eyes and really trying to listen to that that really quiet but important effect to me. It's like once you're able to shape all of the tones to perfectly match each other in context, then that's where I think you get a good song. So let's add the bass and the chords. You can see that this bass line stops right before, but just barely before. And it stops here about 3/4 of the way. Does the same thing, stops 3/4 of the way. One thing I was really unsure of was this hi-hat. Did I want to keep it right here or take it out? Before I had it taken out and it just sounded a tad too empty. It's so interesting how those small changes can make a really big effect. But also in a song like this, when I only have so many instruments, these small changes are big changes, really. I did forget to talk about one instrument, and that's this. I guess I liked it. It just adds a tad bit more interest. The second half of the chorus, we have the bass coming back in, and then we have two other instruments. For now, I'm just going to play the drums and the second two to show you what they sound like. We have the mini chord, which is this. And then we have ARP Odyssey, which is this. The number one authentic lead. Then within context, and that's mainly the song. Now we get to the vocals. So I'll show you what I did for these vocals. First, they don't sound like me at all. Let's listen. Yeah. So what I did right here is I have these vocals and I pitched them up an octave. And then I used Little Alter Boy to pitch them back down. Not with pitch, but with the format. And then I have drive up a little bit because I feel like it made it sound a little wider, I guess. Then we have the part that I need the most, auto-tune. We have a little EQ just for gain. I like to do this because it gives me another little bit of gain stage. There's no point to it. Then we get into the chain of all these plugins that makes it sound a little cooler than me singing normally. We have Filter MS-20. So what this is doing, all it's doing is it has this filter right here, just going really slowly, and it's mixed in pretty low. Yeah, 35%. And it's just to give my voice a little bit more movement, because music is all about movement, right? And sometimes I'll do that, but it's just the slightest bit. That's not exactly what it sounds like, but that's what you could imagine it to be. Then we have Pro Q3. This is taking out the low end and I guess a few frequencies that I did not like. I think with EQ, there's a lot of like main changes you could do. Like you could say, oh, it sounds like too boxy, so let me take down right at 500 or whatever. Or too much sibilance, let's do this. But I think no matter what you do, no matter what the cheat codes are, you should still listen to the thing. It is really good, like knowing where things are and getting a general sense, just building that intuition. But no matter what you do, just close your eyes and listen. Bypass it, turn it off, turn it back on, see, oh, does all this make it sound better? I would really try to do the least amount of effects as possible. So you can see that I didn't really follow my own advice truly here. But there are some people that have EQ chains that look like this, or, even worse. And there is kind of a point to it, but also there's not. We could argue that, but I'm too lazy to do that right now. The next plugin we have is the LA2A by Universal Audio. This is a compressor, just evening out the vocals a little bit. Then have another compressor, evening out the vocals a little bit more. I probably just could have used the one compressor right here since they're right beside each other in the chain. But yeah, I don't really know why. I just did it like that. It sounded good to me at the time. Then I added distortion. This is Arturia's distortion tube culture. It just adds, a little bit of high end, the tiny bit of grit, right? The drive is super, super low. Then we have delays. This is Color Copy by Yuhi. This plugin manufacturer is one of the best, and I love everything that they do. Then we have the reverb. This is a plate reverb by Universal Audio. I have the low cut at 180. Reverb time is a little higher. Pre-delay is right here. I did not use math to figure out the right pre-delay. I could have done that. I did not do that. And then I have the mix pretty low. and turn the bass down just a tad. After that reverb, we have Vintage Valhalla Verb, which has the mix pretty high for a reverb at 44%, decay at 4.4 seconds. Sometimes the low cut is like around here. I think I brought it to 200, is what it said a second ago. And it's on the 1980s for the color. It's always good to mess around with this. For obvious reasons, I like now, or this just makes it sound more 1980s or 1970s or now. After the reverb, compression, EQ, distortion, delays, we have more compression. But this time, since it's after all of that, it also includes the reverb signal. So this evens out, the entire vocal signal, including the reverb. And then we have more EQ. This is take out some mids, to take out some sibilance that was hurting my ears, and add a hair of brightness. And after that, there's really just a few things. I added this little... All it is me cutting out a portion of one of these vocals. It's not any of these, it's one of the past ones. And I just pasted it right there. I made sure to add a low tape to make sure it doesn't do any clicks or pops. Besides that, there's really not that much else to the song. So I'll play it one more time and I'll see you in the next video.